In 2016, a film called The Cell came out. I suddenly heard a mysterious signal in the world. As soon as I heard this signal, more than half of the people became ill. Or they say they are crazy. How do people who are crazy protect themselves? We will know the answer to this question. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. The story of the film starts, so we are shown today's time, where everyone has a cell phone in their hand. At Boston International Airport, we meet the main character of the story, Claire Riddle. Claire is an artist of graphic novels. She liked her work so much that 1 year ago, she left her wife and youngest son to fulfill her dream. Anyway, Claire was successful. She was very upset and had to come to Boston. She was very happy about this. While waiting for the plan, she calls her wife Sharon to give her this good news. She is happy to know this, but she also tells Clay that we can't be one. It's not that easy. She got what Clay wanted. She just wanted to get her family back. While talking on the phone, his cell phone battery ran out, so he had to call the payphone. When Clay was at the airport, we viewers are often shown how people nowadays are stuck to their phones. Clay also talks to his son Johnny and then calls him. After this, some strange incidents started happening. Suddenly, some of the people there started screaming. Every person who was talking on the phone or listening to something, an unknown signal entered their mind. This signal was so powerful that it immediately took the minds of humans under control. The people who were affected by this mysterious signal, after a while they completely go crazy. They started attacking those people who were still alive from this signal. These infected people were very merciless. The situation changes very quickly. The survivors were very scared. Clay himself was not sure what was going on. A sick man started killing a woman in front of his eyes. Clay had a snog glob in his hand. That's why he kills the sick man with his help. The woman's daughter sees this condition of her mother and quickly takes her cell phone so that she can call the police. Clay saw all this with his own eyes, so he refuses to touch the cell phone. But she was very scared, and as soon as she put the cell phone on her ear, the signal started affecting her mind, and she started hitting her head on the wall. In the meantime, the police also come who started shooting at sick people. Seeing this scary scene, Clay was not able to understand what he should do, but when the sick people attacked him, he started running away. This signal was broadcast all over the world. So the planes in the air had an impact on their pilots. Then a passenger crashes at Plainus Airport. Clay had already seen this, so he started running towards the subway. Many sick people were behind him. Clay reached the subway while running. Then a strange thing happened. 3:36. All infected people started to suffer at the same time, as if a signal is controlling them. In this situation, there were other people who were not yet victims of this signal. One of them is going to kill Clay because he thinks he is infected. But the people present there stop him saying that he is not sick. Clay comes in the train so that he can get out of this place, but the train had stopped. He asks the reason. So the train's conductor, whose name was Tom McCord, he comes forward and says that the power has gone. This trend can't work. The people who were very scared, thinking what to do next, Tom explains that we have to get out of here. Because the power has gone, it means that it will be difficult to stop the groundwater. That's why we have to get out of the tunnel as soon as possible. Otherwise, it will rain here and we will die. Only 2 people liked this idea of Tom. The rest didn't want to leave the train. Clay was also one of them. So Tom, Clay, and the third person left the train and started walking ahead. Clay was worried about his wife and daughter. So he asks, "Do you have any idea how this happened and where?" Tom says, "I don't have a family, so I don't know anything. Just an hour ago, all the power went away." As soon as they reach the end of the tunnel, they see some people. It was difficult to tell if he was okay or sick. As soon as his companion moves forward to find out, he takes an axe in his hand. A sick person attacks him and kills him badly. Seeing this, Tom and Cleopatra started running away from there. They come out of an underground passageway and close the place. There was destruction everywhere. Clay lived in Boston, so his apartment was not far away. So he quietly goes to his apartment for Tom. because now they both knew the reason of this disease, that it is a dangerous signal. So these people have to stay away from cell phones, etc. Clay asks Tom for his cell phone and says that we can't call, but we can text. There is no danger in this, he texts his wife, but in response he receives the opposite words, which means that his wife is infected and maybe even his son. But Clay was not going to trust everyone so soon. Tom advises to put the cell phone in the freezer so that its battery lasts longer. They were going to spend the night here. Tom sees some drawings on the walls. Clay used to write his graphic novels, so he drew a lot of such characters. Among those characters, a boy in a red hoodie was seen. At the end of the story, we will see some things about this character. Clay and Tom were talking about these situations at night. That's when the door is locked. It was a little difficult to know who was infected and who was not. That's why Clay asks if you are sick. There was a girl at the door who was actually a neighbor of Clay. Her name was Isabel. She says, "Do I look sick to you?" Clay opens the door. Isabel's clothes were covered with blood. She was very scared. Clay asks if she is hurt. Isabel answers crying that this is not her blood. It is my mother's. I killed my own mother. Clay praises her. Isabel says to close the window quickly or they will see us. Isabel also saw this madness, so she was very scared. Anyway, Tom closes the window. Tom asks Clay, "What do you think? Is this an attack or something else?" But Clay had no answer to this. Tom's phone rings, but they don't pick it up. The next morning, when they wake up outside, many sick people were running around, but all the sick people were in a coma. Now Clay wanted to go to the can pond with his son and wife, but Tom didn't like this idea. He said we should wait here. The danger outside is too much. Clay says that if you don't want to come with me, then it's okay. I can understand. But I want to go to them at any cost. Tom already knew that his family would have been infected, but Clay was giving himself false satisfaction. Anyway, Tom and Isabel were ready to go with him. They took whatever they found as weapons and they started their journey towards Cane Pond. On the way, 2 people are attacked by a bike, but the sick people were so many that they could not help them. These crowds move away from the road, walking. They see a car, which was gun control. They needed guns so badly, so they go to that house where some corpses were lying. After taking the guns, they move forward. When they were passing through the backyard of a house, there was a boy sitting there who had a dog in his hand. They thought maybe he is fine. But as soon as they called out, the boy turned around and started attacking them. Now that they had weapons, Tom immediately shoots him. It was just too late to do so, that all the sick people around them were attracted to them, as if they were sending signals to each other. There were too many infected people, so they ran towards the jungle. Then they hid somewhere. They left together. Tom was shocked. He asked how they saw us. Clay had a theory that maybe they were connected. It works like a hive mind. If one of us see infected, it means that everyone will know. Tom didn't believe it. It was evening and they had to reach a safe place. They were not sure about it. These 3 reach a private school at night where they met 2 people. One was the principal of the school, Charles Arday, and the other was a student named Jordan. These 2 were the only 2 left here. Anyway, they welcomed them. There are some talks about their situation. Charles gave the name of the phone to these infected people because now these people are not there anymore. They are walking on the signal like a cell phone. Charles tells them that these phone numbers at night, I think he's evolving. To make him believe, he takes everyone to the athletic field of the school. There were thousands of sick people lying there, and a voice was coming out of their throat. That too, at the same time. Charles puts his sword in the feet of a sick person who says nothing, meaning these sick people cannot attack at night. But it is very dangerous during the day. Charles said that we have to burn them all. This is the only chance. Clay and Tom thought this was a common murder, but Isabel agreed to it. Tom and Clay were forced to agree. Charles had a fuel tanker. He poured petrol on all the sick people in the car and then set them on fire. Thousands of these sick people started burning, but they were doing nothing to save their lives. Their body was not theirs anymore. Anyway, the fire is out of control and a tanker explodes, which killed Charles. The next morning, they leave the place. Jordan, who was also a student, joined them. They didn't travel during the day, so when they stopped somewhere for rest, Clay has a bad dream in which the character of his story was with his wife. After waking up from sleep, everyone had to say that they had a bad dream, and the strange thing was that they all had the dream of that red-colored hoodie character. Dreams seem different, but everyone sees them together. It's not possible, but it's possible that this signal is so powerful that it can reach the minds of ordinary people without cell phones. They all leave from there in the evening and reach a bar on foot, on which it was written, Jordan tells that it could be that there is no cell phone tower in this area, so maybe no one is sick here and the infected can't attack here. There were 3 people in that bar, they were fine, and they also knew what was happening outside. They decided to spend the night here, but an accident happened that night. A woman in this bar's eyes opened and heard some sounds from outside. She went near the door, and after a while, when Clay's eyes opened, the woman was infected with a voice. He opened the door, which had brought many sick people inside. They attacked them. They started fighting in their defense, but Isabel was badly wounded. Tom brought Clay and Jordan out, but he died in the jungle. They were very sad about it. Clay believed that whoever was transmitting this signal was evil, and he has taken the form of Clay's character means this was just an arrow. This signal is a secret from where this started after burying Isabel. These people go on the way of the jungle where no signal works, so that these infected people are safe from the eyes on the way. A man meets a woman. The man's name was Ray. Ray had not slept for the past few days because he believed that when a person goes to sleep, this signal controls his brain, and wherever towers are installed, it will have the most impact. This signal is controlling humans. They also had an infected man with a cloth on his head so that he could not see anything, because if he saw something, everyone else would know. Clay and Atom tell them about themselves. After a while, the infected man started talking to the voice of Johnny, Clay's son. Seeing this, Clay can't stop himself and takes off his clothes from the man's face. As soon as he did this, the rest of the sick people got the signal. And now they will go here. Tom shoots that man. Ray had a truck, so everyone climbs into it so that they can go away from here. But Ray stops on the way. He was crazy. He takes Clay with him and tells him that the man you see is the root of this problem. If you kill him, the rest will be finished. He gives a cell phone to Clay and says that you should use it when the right time comes. Clay doesn't understand anything, and then he blows his own head. Clay couldn't stop him. When the rest of them found out, they felt very bad. The next day they reached Cane Pond. Clay went home alone. His son left a message on the bridge that he was fine. Mom was sick and he has gone to the couchette. Clay hears some noises from above, so when he goes up, Red Hoodie wears it. Someone attacks him. Now before he gets hit by Clay, Tom shoots him. It seems like he is the same man who comes in his dreams, but actually she was Clay's wife who had been infected. Clay finds out that Ray's ice cream truck is filled with explosives. He had a plan. He wanted to blow up the place from where the signal was transmitted. That's why he was telling Clay that if the right time comes, use your cell phone. Actually, he controlled the cell phone, the inexplosive. Clay said goodbye to everyone and went to the place where the biggest and tallest tower was. Even in the number of people, the sick people were circling the tower. Clay moved ahead, and right in front of him, he saw that evil man who was a character in the story. Clay put a car on him and killed him. After this, Clay saw his son. Clay blows up the tower with explosives, which will kill all the sick people. The next day, we are shown that Clay is looking for Tom and Jordan with his son. This was a happy ending, but it wasn't, because in fact, Clay was already infected. Now he was also going around the tower with those sick people, and the rest was just his brain. That was not true. It was just some thoughts that someone had put in his mind. And it is also possible that this whole story was just going on in his mind. It is possible that Clay was infected on the first day. Anyway, the rest is up to you. What do you think about this? If you liked the video, then like it. Friends, this story was actually written by Stephen King, but the movie flopped. Give your opinion about the story. See you in another story.